You think you know cats? Well, Maine Coons are about to flip everything you thought you knew on its head. These gentle giants are so unique that once you meet one, you'll never look at regular house cats the same way again. And trust me, if you're thinking about getting one, you need to know what you're signing up for. Maine Coons are one of the oldest natural breeds in North America, and they're the official state cat of Maine. Yes, that's a real thing. The exact origins are a bit mysterious. Some legends claim they're descended from Marie Antoinette's cats that were shipped to America during the French Revolution. Others say they're the result of domestic cats breeding with wild bobcats or raccoons, though that last one is biologically impossible. The most likely story? Maine Coons evolved naturally in the harsh New England climate. Ship cats brought over by European sailors bred with local farm cats, and over generations, only the strongest, fluffiest, and most adaptable survived those brutal Maine winters. This natural selection created the incredibly unique breed you see today. Today, you're going to discover 6 incredible ways Maine Coons stand apart from every other cat breed out there. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Maine Coon owners are absolutely obsessed with this breed. Number 1. Their size is genuinely shocking. Let's start with the obvious one, but trust me, even if you've seen pictures, you're not prepared for how massive Maine Coons actually are. When you bring home a Maine Coon kitten, you might think, okay, this is a normal-sized kitten. But here's the thing, Maine Coons don't stop growing until they're about 4 years old. 4 years! Most cats are fully grown by their first birthday. Your Maine Coon? They're just getting started. Male Maine Coons typically weigh between 15 and 25 pounds, with some gentle giants tipping the scales at over 30 pounds. And we're not talking about fat cats here. This is pure muscle, fluff, and bone structure. They can stretch up to 40 inches long from nose to tail tip. That's longer than most toddlers are tall. But here's what the photos don't tell you. The weight distribution is completely different from other cats. When you pick up a Maine Coon, you're not just holding a heavy cat, you're holding what feels like a small dog wrapped in a luxurious fur coat. They're solid, substantial. When a Maine Coon walks across your lap, you feel it. When they jump on your bed at 3 a.m., the whole mattress moves. And this size affects everything. Your regular cat tower? Forget it. Those cute little cat beds on Amazon? Laughably small. You need to think bigger, literally, for everything from litter boxes to carriers to the space they take up on your couch. Because yes, they will take up your entire couch, and no, they won't feel bad about it. Number 2, they actually love water. Okay, this one blows people's minds every single time. You know how most cats treat water like it's made of lava? How they'll do anything to avoid getting wet? Maine Coons missed that memo entirely. These genuine cats are fascinated by water. Not just tolerant of it, they actively seek it out. You'll find your Maine Coon dipping their paws in their water bowl, not to drink, but just to play. They'll sit in the bathroom and watch you shower with intense interest. Some owners report their Maine Coons jumping into the shower with them. Yes, willingly. Scientists believe this trait goes back to their origins in Maine, where they likely evolved around fishing communities and may have even helped catch fish. That thick, water-resistant coat isn't just for show, it actually repels water pretty effectively, which means your Maine Coon can get wet without getting completely soaked to the skin like other cats. You'll see this behavior manifest in weird ways. Your Maine Coon might drown their toys in the water bowl. They'll make demands to watch you fill the bathtub. They'll drink from running faucets and actually seem disappointed when you turn the water off. One owner I know had to install child locks on their toilet because their Maine Coon figured out how to flush it and would do it repeatedly just to watch the water swirl. This is completely opposite to what you'd expect from a regular cat. And if you're used to regular cats, watching a Maine Coon voluntarily stick their entire head under running water is surreal. It's like they're a completely different species. Number 3, they chirp and trill instead of meowing. Here's something you won't learn until you actually live with a Maine Coon. They don't really meow like other cats. Sure, they can meow, but that's not their preferred method of communication. Maine Coons chirp. They trill. They make these musical, bird-like sounds that are completely unique to them. It's this high-pitched, rolling brup sound that feels more like a greeting than a demand. and they do it constantly. When you come home from work, your Maine Coon won't meow at you, they'll chirp at you in this excited, warbling way that sounds like they're genuinely trying to tell you about their day. When they want food, instead of that demanding meow you get from other cats, you get this melodic trill that's somehow both assertive and polite. And the weird part, each Maine Coon has their own unique voice. Some have deep, rumbling chirps, others sound like they've inhaled helium. They use different sounds for different situations, almost like they have a whole vocabulary you need to learn. And they're chatty, so chatty. Your Maine Coon will narrate their entire life to you. Jumping onto the counter? Chirp. Seeing a bird outside? Chirp, chirp, chirp. You walked into the kitchen? Definitely worth a trill. Some Maine Coons will have full conversations with you, responding to your words with their own unique sounds. This isn't just cute, it completely changes how you interact with them. You're not living with a cat that occasionally meows for food. You're living with a vocal companion who constantly communicates with you in their own special language. Number 4. Their personality is more dog than cat. This is the difference that converts people from "I'm a dog person" to "I'm a Maine Coon person." Because honestly, Maine Coons act more like dogs than cats in so many ways. First, they're loyal. Not just "I tolerate you because you feed me" loyal. We're talking "I will follow you from room to room and get genuinely sad when you leave" loyal. Your Maine Coon will greet you at the door. They'll wait for you to come home. They form deep, genuine bonds with their humans that other cats simply don't. They're also social in a way most cats aren't. While your typical cat might hide when guests come over, your Maine Coon will probably want to meet everyone. They're confident, curious, and surprisingly good with strangers, other pets, and even kids. It's not unusual for Maine Coons to befriend the family dog and even play fetch together. Speaking of fetch, many Maine Coons will actually play fetch without training. They'll bring you toys and drop them at your feet, waiting for you to throw them. This isn't some rare quirk. Tons of Maine Coon owners report this behavior. They're playful well into adulthood, maintaining that kitten energy for years. But here's the most dog-like trait. They're trainable. You can teach a Maine Coon to walk on a leash. You can teach them tricks. They'll learn their name and actually come when called, most of the time. They're intelligent enough to open doors, turn on faucets, and solve puzzle feeders with ease. This means living with a Maine Coon is less like living with a cat and more like living with a furry, purring roommate who happens to have 4 legs. They want to be involved in everything you do. They're not content to just exist in the same house as you. They want to be part of your life. Number 5. Those tufted paws are built for snow. Look at a Maine Coon's paws and you'll notice something weird. They've got these crazy tufts of fur sticking out between their toes. It looks adorable, like they're wearing little fuzzy slippers. But this isn't just for show, it's actual evolutionary adaptation. Maine Coons developed these tufted paws as natural snowshoes. The fur spreads their weight across a larger surface area, preventing them from sinking into snow. Living in Maine, where winters are brutal, this trait helped them survive and hunt in deep snow conditions. But even if you don't live in a snowy climate, you'll notice these paws in action. Maine Coons have this distinctive way of walking. It's more deliberate, almost graceful, because their paws are physically different from other cats. When they walk across hard floors, you can actually hear the difference. The paws are also huge, proportionally much larger than other cats' paws. This means better grip, better climbing ability, and honestly, it just adds to their overall gentle giant aesthetic. When a Maine Coon reaches out to touch your face with one of those massive tufted paws, it's an experience. You'll also need to maintain those paw tufts. The fur can get matted, especially if your Maine Coon uses a litter box. Some owners trim the fur slightly, while others just make sure to check and clean the paws regularly. It's a grooming requirement that's specific to this breed. Number 6. Their coat requires serious commitment. Let's be real about something. That gorgeous, flowing coat you see in all the Maine Coon photos, it doesn't maintain itself. In fact, the coat is probably the biggest practical difference between Maine Coons and other cats. Maine Coons have a 3-layered coat. They've got a soft undercoat, a middle layer, and those long guard hairs on top. This coat is designed to repel water and keep them warm in harsh Maine winters. It's beautiful, it's luxurious, and it sheds everywhere, constantly.
You need to brush your Maine Coon at least 2 to 3 times per week and daily during shedding season. This isn't optional. Without regular brushing, they'll develop mats, especially around their hindquarters, under their legs, and behind their ears. These mats can become painful and may require professional grooming or even shaving to remove. But here's what makes it different from grooming other long-haired cats: the sheer volume of fur. When you brush a Maine Coon, you're not getting a small handful of loose fur. You're getting enough fur to build another cat. Seriously, you could probably knit a sweater from what comes off during one good brushing session. And shedding, it never stops. You'll find Maine Coon fur on your clothes, your furniture, in your coffee. Somehow it defies physics and appears in places you didn't even know your cat could reach.
You need to invest in good lint rollers, a quality vacuum designed for pet hair, and honestly, just accept that fur is now part of your aesthetic. The coat also changes with the seasons. Your Maine Coon will grow an even thicker coat in winter and shed heavily in spring. This seasonal change is more dramatic than with other cats, meaning your grooming routine needs to adjust throughout the year. So there you have it, 6 ways Maine Coons are completely different from every other cat out there. They're massive, water-loving, chirping, dog-like companions with snowshoe paws and coats that require serious commitment. If you're thinking about getting a Maine Coon, understanding these differences isn't just interesting, it's essential. These aren't your average cats, and they don't fit into an average cat owner's lifestyle. But if you're ready for the commitment, they'll reward you with a bond unlike anything you've experienced with other cats. Are you a Maine Coon owner? What's the most surprising difference you've discovered? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button for more content about these incredible gentle giants. Trust me, once you start learning about Maine Coons, you won't want to stop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.